Massive controversy erupts after Rangers are robbed again at Hampden, and this time the SFA have the audacity to defend it. A £10 million striker is booed off the pitch while Barry Ferguson rushes to his defence, and why Danny Rowell should unleash Finlay Curtis for Rangers. And just when it looks like chaos, a forgotten warrior returns to training. Dujon Sterling is back, and his comeback could transform the entire backline. Smash that like button, just like Trusty smashed Butland's head. You've got Youssef Chamiti, a £10 million gamble that's starting to look like a bad night at the casino. Signed out of Everton with high hopes and absolutely no time to breathe, the lad was thrown into the fire from day one. And after that disaster at Hampden, you could feel it. The moods shifted. Now Barry Ferguson, someone who knows the heat of the Ibrox spotlight better than most, came out and said what many were probably thinking but wouldn't say out loud. He said, "I get the criticism, and I could hear it with my own ears at Hampden on Sunday after he missed a couple of big chances against Celtic, but I felt for the young man at the same time. He's under a lot of pressure because of circumstances completely out of his control." And then came the punch of truth. He didn't ask Rangers to spend £10 million to get him out of Everton in the summer, but he's the guy who gets it in the neck for the size of the transfer fee. That's fair. But here's where the sympathy ends. This is Rangers. You don't get to hide behind price tags or pressure. You're judged on what you do in the big games. And against Celtic, he was nowhere near the level. 6 yards out, a golden ball from Diamond, and he fluffs it again. And he scored against Kilmarnock and then had the cheek to do the talking hands celebration, sending a message to the doubters. Well, Youssef, when you go silent in the very next 2 matches and cost your team again, maybe don't act like you've silenced anybody. Danny Rowell's put his faith in him, but even that patience has limits. 11 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, and the jury's not just out. They're already arguing about whether we've been taken for a ride. Here's the real issue. Did we spend £10 million on a player who needs years to settle when we needed a striker who could hit the ground running and fire us to trophies right now? Was this another case of Rangers signing a boy when what we desperately needed was a man ready to lead the line? Another old firm, another disgrace, and once again, Rangers leave Hampden with nothing but questions and rage. 3-1 to Celtic after extra time. But let's be real, the scoreline barely scratches the surface of the scandal that unfolded on that pitch. Now you saw it. Thalo Arsgaard gets sent off. No complaints there. Studs up, too high, no defense. But then Anthony Ralston, the very same player who gives away a penalty with his arm halfway to Perth, stays on the park. It should have walked. And it's not just you saying that Rangers went straight to the SFA demanding answers. What did they get? A polite pat on the head and a rulebook explanation. Apparently, and I can't say this with a straight face, a handball only leads to a second yellow if it's deliberate. That's what Callum Crowe wheeled out in the papers, saying, "Don't shoot the messenger." By the letter of the law, the SFA's explanation probably stacks up. Probably. That says it all. And what about Austin Trusty? Boot to the face of Jack Butland. Anywhere else on the park, and that's a straight red. At Hampden, play on. Again. The officials did what they always seem to do when Rangers are involved in a final. Bottled it. This isn't new. Less than a year ago, in the last Premier Sports Cup final, VAR denied a clear penalty when Václav Cherny was brought down bang on the line. They apologised, as they always do. Fat lot of good that does when the cup's sitting in the Celtic's cabinet. And now Derek Ferguson's saying what we're all thinking. It's a recurring theme and cannot be a coincidence. Every big game over the past 5 or 6 years, Rangers don't get the big decisions. He's right. It's not about one bad call. It's about a pattern, a stinking pattern that keeps repeating itself like clockwork every time silverware's on the line. Rangers have every right to be furious. The club's statement made it clear they're unsatisfied with the SFA's response, and legitimate concerns about the consistency of refereeing are growing louder by the week. But here's the real kicker. You and I both know what'll happen next. Another old firm will come, another huge decision will go against Rangers, and nothing will change. VAR will shrug, Collum will smile, and the system will defend itself with rulebook nonsense. At what point do you stop calling it incompetence and start calling it something far more sinister? Danny Role's got a storm to weather right now, but if there's one silver lining in that semi-final defeat to Celtic, it's this. The match served as a loud reminder that bravery brings rewards. While our lads were running on fumes in extra time, who pops up to bury the third goal? A teenage debutant on just his second appearance, Callum Osmond, a total unknown given a chance under an interim manager, and he made it count. Now, ask yourself this, if that was a young Ranger coming off the bench and scoring like that in a high-stakes Old Firm, you'd never hear the end of it. Instead, it's a Celtic boy seizing the moment while we continue to bench one of the most exciting players to come out of our own academy, Finlay Curtis. Here's the truth no one at Ibrox wants to hear out loud. Our academy's been churning out potential, but watching it walk right out the door, Billy Gilmore never played a senior game. Greg Taylor left without a sniff. Nathan Patterson's the only one to make real first-team noise before being sold, and even that was short-lived. Meanwhile, Curtis sits twiddling his thumbs on the bench. 10 appearances this season, only 2 starts, and he's still managed 3 goals, including a beauty against Panathinaikos. That's more goals than half the senior attackers on the squad, and yet he's stuck behind underperformers, watching games drift by like scenery from a bus window. Danny Role needs to look across the city and take note. Osman wasn't some wonder kid with a massive price tag. He was just given a chance, that's it. And look what happened. Curtis has already delivered in the Premiership, in Europe, and in the League Cup. What more does he have to do? Wait for another injury crisis? Hope someone in the boardroom finally notices? You want to inject energy into this Rangers side? Want to shake things up? Stop giving the same tired chances to players who failed to take them and unleash the boy wonder. Let Curtis run riot. He's got the pace, the fearlessness, and the eye for goal. 3 things sorely missing in our final third right now. The way this club's treated its academy products in recent years is nothing short of negligent. If Curtis was at Celtic, he'd already have 5 starts and a new contract. Is it time to admit Rangers are wasting their best young talents while watching Celtic turn theirs into match winners right in front of our faces? There's a bit of long overdue good news out of Auchenhoy, and it could be exactly what Danny Role's been waiting for. Dujon Sterling, sidelined since April with a brutal Achilles rupture, is finally back in training. And not just jogging laps or doing stretches, we're talking full drills, ball work, intensity. He's in the thick of it now. You've not seen him under Role yet, and that's the point. Sterling could be like a new signing. Fresh legs, a proper defender who can plug gaps, shift shape, and bring that physicality we've sorely lacked. After 4 matches at the helm, 2 wins, 2 defeats, Role's still looking for his best system, and the return of Sterling might just unlock a version of this Rangers side we've not seen yet. Let's not forget what he brings. 70 appearances in just 2 seasons, 34 games last year under Clement and Barry Ferguson. Solid, aggressive, versatile, right back, right centre back. He's got both in his locker. And here's where it gets really tasty. With Sterling in that back line, James Tavernier could be let loose further up the pitch. Imagine that Tav no longer pinned back by defensive duties, instead bombing forward, delivering crosses, scoring goals like he's done so many times before. It's a tactical shift that could change everything, and with Max Aaron's not exactly staking a claim, Sterling's comeback couldn't be better timed. But as Dr. Rajpal Brar said, the real test is how he handles the intensity. Achilles injuries are nasty business, usually a 7 to 9 month return, and longer still to get back to peak levels, but the signs are good. The footage out of Rangers HQ lines up perfectly with the recovery timeline. It's now all about how his body reacts to those sharp bursts, those matchday demands. You need options, you need depth, and in a season where injuries, inconsistency, and confusion have reigned, a fully fit Dujon Sterling might just be the difference between another write-off and a serious push. Should Sterling walk straight back into the side, potentially displacing Tavernier or reshuffling the backline, or should he have to earn his place like anyone else? Comment your thoughts below, hit like, and if you've not subscribed yet, you're missing all the latest on our Rangers. See you soon!